Good morning, aspirants. Welcome to the Civilspedia's Daily Current Affairs analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. And today's date is 4th of July 2025. And in this video, we are going to discuss about the following topics which are listed below. And in the first topic, we are going to discuss about the India and Ghana bilateral ties and also the geographical feature of Ghana. And in the second topic, we are going to discuss about the genome of ancient genome sequence which got extracted from an individual from the ancient Egypt site. And the third topic was about the Bhopal gas tragedy and its menace and its relevance to till date because of the environmental hazard produced by the wastage which was still prevailing in the current environment. And the Unicode Consortium which was recently got the India got recently assigned or joined this Unicode Consortium as a member. And the fifth topic was the COVID-19 vaccine and sudden death relevance and the clarification given by the Union Health Ministry. And the sixth topic is the custodial death prevalence in Tamil Nadu, especially in Tamil Nadu, and the police brutality over individuals and the recent condemnation given by the Madurai High Court. And the seventh topics and the last topic was the gig workers who are to be a part of Indian labor data, but what lags behind the issue. In this topic for discussion, we are going to discuss about a nation which was recently in news because of the Prime Minister's visit to five African nations. And the video is going to discuss about the geographical features of the West African nation Ghana. And let's get to know more about the Ghana as a nation. As per the location or the physical features of location of this West African nation called Ghana, it present in the continent Africa, and it belongs to the region of West African as it is a West African nation. And the capital of this Ghana is Accra, which is a coastal area in the Ghana. And the borders surrounding the Ghana nation are in the northern side it was bordered by Burkina Faso, and in the east it was bordered by Togo, and west by Cote d'Ivoire, and the south will be Gulf of Guinea, which is open in Atlantic Ocean. And with respect to the physical features of Ghana, it consists mostly of low plain areas with hills and isolated plateaus. And the key landforms present in the Ghana is Volta Basin, which is a major basin present in the nation of Ghana, and Aquapim Togo region, the Kwa Plateau, and the coastal plains. And the major water bodies present in this nation are the Lake Volta, which is more prominent because it is one of the largest man-made lakes present in the nation. And the rivers flow in this nation are White Volta, Black Volta, and OTA rivers. And it has also the coastal lagoon on areas of capital region of Accra and the Cape Coast, which is present in the Gulf of Guinea. And the climatic zone or the climatic environment of this nation is of tropical climate, as the equator currently passes through the below this Ghana, so it experiences tropical climate. And in the south of Ghana it has the equatorial climate, and in the north of Ghana it has the influence of savanna. The equatorial climate is of hot, humid and rainy, and the savanna climate is more of a hot and dry. And the rainy seasons of this nation Ghana is on the southern side has the influence of rain from the April to June and September to November. And April to June is because of the equatorial climate, because the land area got heated more, and it has the influence of the ocean. So the southern part of the Ghana will experience rain from April to June, and from September to November it has the influence from the Mediterranean climate. So in the northern region it has the influence of rain from May to September, and this made after September, the southern part will receive rain on that area. And the average mean temperature present in the Ghana region is around 21 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius. And Ghana is one of the resource rich nations in the Western African region, and it got minerals of natural resources like gold, bauxite, manganese and diamonds. And it also has the energy source from the hydroelectric powers from Aksombo Dam, and it also has the natural energy of oil resources and along with the gas resources also. And regarding the agricultural resource, it majorly produces cocoa, cassava, that is a type of uh, rooted plant, and yams, maize, palm oil, etc. And this Ghana region is also specifically peculiar for its resource rich in hardwood forests like ebonies, trees, like etc. And with relation to India and Ghana bilateral relations, what are all the strategic expansions or from the India's perspectives are relationship upgrade to comprehensive partnership. That is, we have moved to a upgraded partnership of comprehensive partnership between both the nations. And the main target of this bilateral meeting between India and Ghana is to create a double bilateral trade in 5 years down the line. And the focus sector of this bilateral meeting is of financial technology, that is with respect to UPI generation, and critical minerals exploration, healthcare, defense is a major focus between India and Ghana, and also the counter-terrorism. And recently, after the visit of our Prime Minister to Ghana, the Ghana has awarded our Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the prestigious award of Officer of the Order of the Star of Ghana award to our Prime Minister, which reinforces the India's role in both the nation's development, and which also reinforces India's role in South-South cooperation. And from the Ghana's perspective, it will create an economic environment, and it also has the recognition of Western African nations in the global level. The Ghana also welcomed the initiative of 2 billion, around 2 billion investment across 900 projects by India in the Western African nation. And it also seen the India as a co-traveler in the development and reconstructing both the nations, and to lead in the development path. The Ghana also supports India's leadership in the global south, which is more important and most valuable in the global level. And this award provided by the Ghana as a nation to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi will affirm the mutual relationship and the shared vision between both the nations. And it also emphasizes the peace or diplomacy between both the nations in global conflicts, as they have discussed deeply about the counter-terrorism and defense cooperation in the recent bilateral meeting. Moving to the prelims practice question, consider the following statement: Mali, Niger, Ivory Coast, Senegal and Togo. Which of the following nations shares border with Ghana? And the answer for this question is option C, that is 3 and 5, that is Ivory Coast and Togo only. And the next topic for the discussion is the sequencing of the very ancient Egyptian genome, which was recently sequenced from the site of Egypt, which was considered to be the first time full genome got sequenced from the Egypt. And the individual who lived the sequence, DNA sequence extracted from the individual who was estimated to live around 4,500 to 4,800 years ago during the old kingdom times, that is the third or fourth dynasty during that time. And it also revealed the ancestry linkage between North Africa and earlier civilization of Mesopotamia. And what are all the key findings or the key important things that needs to be taken into account, or the time period which was prominent because it was predated to creation of pyramids and creation of ancient cities on that time. It belongs to the third or fourth dynasties of Old Kingdom, and the site which got the DNA is Nuwairat, which is 265 kilometers south of Cairo, which is Cairo is the capital of Egypt. And the burial from where the DNA got sequenced from that individual is the method of pot burial. And this pot burial got included, or this pot burial was happened at the time in the rock cut tomb, which is also a peculiar feature. And the DNA preserved by this in this pot burial culture, which was predated to creation of that pyramid, is due to the stable microclimate because of the pot burial along with the rock cut tomb nature. And with regard to the biological profile, according to the radiocarbon dating, it was male because the presence of morphological features of a male individual. And it also has the chromosome of XY. So and the age of death of this individual who got the DNA got extracted is around 44 to 64 years estimated. And the estimated height of the individual is around 157 to 160 centimeters. And which also the DNA profile also has the peculiar feature of the characteristics like brown eyes, brown hair and dark skin tone, which was combination of brown or the nature with respect to Morak individual. And with respect to the genomic ancestry that needs to be decoded was 78% has close affinity to Neolithic North African nature, which is a present day Moroccan genomic sequence and genomic nature. And it also has the 22% of close affinity with the earlier formers of East Fertile Crescent. This East Fertile Crescent is included of southern Iraq, western Iran, southeast Turkey and southern Syria parts. And it also creates or it also has established the indicates the long distance cultural exchange between pre-pyramids era. And the DNA source of this individual was extracted from the root tips, tooth root tips, which is a excellent preservation of DNA source. And the environment which the individual got preserved this DNA was more peculiar because it got buried. The individual got buried in a pot which is ceramic in nature, which is also a distinguishing feature on that time. Because on that time the ceramic pot burial is not prevalent to that extent. And the rock cut tomb, which ensured the climatic stability to maintain a microclimate for excellent preservation of this DNA. And so this chemical mummification practice was also not prevalent at that time because of the it was predated to the mummification or the preservation of burial sites or bodies through pyramids. And it got the global significance because of the rare DNA preservation in warm climates, because in an environment like Egypt, warm climate areas, the DNA got degraded rapidly because of the warm climatic conditions, but this DNA got preserved because of the microclimate, which got the DNA more closely packed. And the first complete genome was decoded from this site and from the warm climate, and it also matches with the archaeological theories of earlier connectivity between the Levant regions and other Mesopotamian regions on that time. And with respect to the earlier genome sequence, one of the oldest genome was sequenced from get from the Siberia, which was estimated to around 45,000 years ago. And in India, the oldest genome got sequenced from the site of Raki Garhi, which is in Haryana. And the estimated year of the genome was around 4,000 years ago, which is also partial genome sequence in nature. And with respect to the civilization insight, the it confirms the linkage between or the interaction between Egypt and the earlier civilization of Mesopotamian region, and it also overlaps with the cultural and agricultural and other prototype language prototype overlapping in nature. And it also has the major exchange may have occurred via Levantine population in modern days of Jordan, Syria and Israel, rather than direct movement from Mesopotamia. And with respect to the prelims practice question, what is the significance of rock cut tomb and pot burial in the context of this discovery? A. They ensured the religious purity of the burial. They allowed the preservation of DNA in Egypt's hot climate, which is a correct statement. They were used exclusively for royalty in ancient Egypt, which is not in the context, so the third statement is not correct. They reflect common burial practices during the New Kingdom, which is also incorrect. And the answer for this question is option B. They allowed for the preservation of DNA in Egypt's hot climate. Moving on to the next topic, and this topic is majorly dealt with the disaster happened in the Indian environment, that is the Bhopal gas tragedy, which was happened in the year 1984, which is considered to be one of the most lethal and dangerous and hazardous disaster happened in the India. And this Bhopal gas tragedy was happened at the night of December 2nd in the year 1984, and the location of this Bhopal gas tragedy was Union Carbide pesticide plant, which was in the area of Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. And the chemical involved in this tragedy is the methyl isocyanate, which is more toxic, that is highly toxic, volatile and heavier than air. Because of this heaviness, the people around the Bhopal area can't able to breathe and they suffocate more. They can't able to take oxygen for survival. And the company involved in this tragedy, and the major reason of this tragedy, is the Union Carbide Corporation, which is a US based company, and it was recently taken over by the Dow Chemicals in the year 2001. But the Dow Chemical also denied the liability or taking liability for the accidents or the environmental hazard which was persistent in that area. And this tragedy was happened because of the poor safety mechanism conducted there, and they take measures to make the cost cutting effect, and it also happened because of the inadequate maintenance which leads to this tragedy. And what is the impact of this Bhopal gas tragedy is more tragic and more gory, and the immediate which causes an immediate death, that methyl isocyanate propagation in the air causes the immediate death of around 3,000, which is an official statement, official record, only 3,000, around 3,000, and some independent estimates or the other than officials, it shows a higher number of death rate. And in the long term death rate of this release of this methyl isocyanate is around 15,000 to 20,000, which is more long term effect. And the injuries happened because of this release of this gas affects 5 to 6 lakh survivors. And the major health effects which is persistent till today, or the people around that area has some respiratory illness and with related to respiratory problems, and they were frequently affected by cancers, and they also have the reproductive disorders which lead to physically challenged born or the birth defect, child with birth defects, and other health impacts also. And with respect to the environment, it creates or it has the capacity of 337 tons of hazardous waste, which has been stored till from decades in that union carbide factory which is present in Bhopal, which in turn releases the waste in the groundwater, which seepage the waste into groundwater, and it also contaminates the groundwater by leaching of chemicals from the abandoned site, which makes the groundwater contaminant and still now hurting people by impacting their health. And it also creates an environmental injustice because it affects the burden of poor population, and it creates a environmental as well as the health impact on the disproportionate poor people around that area, which makes the area more volatile and unlivable. And the unsafe industrial practice and lack of regulation by both the companies which incorporates the law also makes the development activities more failure. As of now, as of 2025, the current status of this union carbide or the Bhopal gas tragedy is that the waste got incinerated only at the rate of rupees 126 crores, and the leftover contaminations which was left aside in that area will create a groundwater pollution as well as the soil pollution. And the survivor of this Bhopal gas tragedy and the remnants and the lineage of people who got affected by this Bhopal gas tragedy has to be addressed not properly, and they want a better healthcare compensation, and they want the environmental more clean. And what are the way forward for this Bhopal gas tragedy? And till now they got the issue persist around that area. Both legally and institutional reforms has to be enforced. And with respect to environment, the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, which was outdated because it was enacted with closely to the after the Bhopal incident, which needs to be revamped. And it also suggested reforms like update in the Environmental Protection Act to include more corporate liability on the institution side, because which to make them more accountable on people and as well as the environment. And it also mandate the periodic checkups and periodic environmental audits, and it also has to create an independent National Chemical Safety Authority, which was lagging in the Indian environment. Because of this, if a body like this is in present, we can easily monitor or eliminate such disaster in the future era. And it also has to strengthen the public participation in the environmental decision making, and there needs to be more number of whistleblowers and other activists for the protection of the environment as well as the people from this like disasters. With respect to the prelims practice question, what is the primary industrial use of methyl isocyanate? This methyl isocyanide is primarily used in the production of pesticide production, so the answer is C. Moving to the next topic, in this topic we are going to know about the Unicode Consortium and India's membership in the Unicode Consortium in the recent times. It is in news because India's IT ministry, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, has rejoined, which is already a part of Unicode Consortium earlier, but it rejoined in the Unicode Consortium, which is a non-profit organization specifically focuses on the Unicode, that is method of depicting emojis, text and graphical interfaces for communication. And India has been a part of this Unicode Consortium as a supporting member in the year 2025, and it also gains half a vote, that is half a vote in the technical committee for assessments. And India is also now one of the only two governments globally with voting rights in the body, that is there is another government body involved in this voting rights of this Unicode Consortium, and that is the government of Tamil Nadu, that sets global text and emoji standards that we have already discussed. And what is this Unicode Consortium? And it is a non-profit body that maintains, as I discussed earlier, Unicode standard, that is a method of depicting digital representation with a consistent manner of text and emojis across devices and platforms that we have evolved, like GIFs, emojis, etc., on various other platforms, social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebooks and other platforms, etc. And it has a technical committee which we have a half a vote on new scripts, introducing new scripts or characters in implementation, or creating an emoji in the Unicode Consortium. And it is headquarters in the USA, and the meetings held by this Unicode Consortiums are mostly held online and or in the US in the offline mode. And what makes this Unicode Consortium matters for India is to promote the Indian scripts, like basic scripts or GIFs or image depicting various emojis or a specific nature of Indian culture, which can be depicted easily through emojis, and text can be introduced, or it has the influence of Indian, say, in this Unicode Consortium in the global digital platforms. And it also enhances the linguistic inclusion, that India is a diversified country with diversified languages or linguistic density, which we have a say in this linguistic inclusion also for the regional and tribal languages in the Unicode Consortium. And it can also influence emojis and script decisions which was in favor of India, or it also has to say or influence the decision which are in against of India's sovereignty. And it also supports the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technologies initiative called Technology Development for Indian Languages initiative. It also has the say for restricting the non-standard fonts or improving the accessibility in the Unicode administration, and also has the say in digital governance. Moving to the prelims practice question, with reference to the Unicode Consortium, consider the following statement. First statement, it is a United Nations agency responsible for setting digital language standards, which is a incorrect statement because it is not a agency of United Nations, it is a non-profit organization. So the first statement is incorrect. And the second statement is, the Unicode Consortium maintains a global standard for encoding of text and emojis, which is a correct statement because it sets a global standard for encoding text and emojis, is a correct statement. And the third statement, India currently has a full vote, which is incorrect because we have only a half a vote in the Unicode technical team, technical committee. And the fourth statement, the Unicode Consortium supports digital representation of all world languages, which is correct statement. Include, even though if it is extreme statement including all world languages, it is a correct statement because it supports the digital representation of all world languages. So the fourth statement is correct. By eliminating the first and third statement in the option, we can easily arrive at the answer option A, 2 and 4. In this video, we are going to see about the recent surface of COVID-19 vaccine in the news because the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare recently clarified that there is no direct link between COVID-19 vaccination and the sudden death reported across the nation. And this conclusion is based on multiple investigation by national health agencies like Indian Council of Medical Research, that is ICMR, and National Center for Disease Control and other agencies. And what are all the key findings with respect to this COVID-19 vaccination and the sudden death is that there is no major change in the death pattern compared to pre-pandemic years, and there is this unexplained sudden death. Most of the unexplained sudden death are because of the genetic mutations identified as the potential contribution for this unexplained sudden death. And the sudden cardiac arrest or the sudden cardiac death were to be found multifactorial because it has the influence of genetic predisposition, pre-existing conditions, and lifestyle factors and post-COVID complications, etc. And with respect to vaccination administered in the Indian country, there are list of vaccination which are administered at that time for restricting the propagation of COVID-19, and the vaccination name are listed below, which was the first one is the Covishield, which was most widely known. The developer of this Covishield was Oxford, in cooperation with the Oxford and AstraZeneca, and it is manufactured by Serum Institute of India. And this Covishield is a type of viral vector vaccine which is based on the adenovirus, and as I said earlier, it is the most widely used vaccine in India. And the second vaccine which was administered was Covaxin, which is also the second popular vaccine developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research. And this vaccine, Covaxin, is a type of vaccine which used inactivated virus, that is COVID-19 virus, for boosting the immunity against the COVID-19, and it is considered to be the India's first indigenously developed COVID-19 vaccine. And the third widely known vaccine is the Sputnik 5, which was developed by Gamaleya Institute, which is based in Russia, and it is a viral vector vaccine. And this Sputnik 5 is being imported and manufactured by the Indian pharma companies like Dr. Reddy's. And the fourth vaccine is the Corbevax, which is developed by Biological E, and it used protein subunit type, which is a peculiar type used for the production of vaccines for administering younger age groups from 12 to 18 years, which is need to be taken care of at that time. And the fifth type of vaccine is the Covovax, which was developed by Novavax, which is a US based company, and it is manufactured in India by the Serum Institute of India, and it is also a protein subunit type of vaccine, and it is approved also for the adolescents who are above 13 years of age, and which also can be administered to adults. And the final type of vaccine, which is more unique and peculiar in nature, was the Incovac, which is developed by the Bharat Biotech, and it is the intranasal vaccine, that is, it need not to be injected, it has to be sprayed in the nasal canal. It used live attenuated vector, which is the virus which got weakened or less effective in nature has to be sprayed in the intranasal canal. And the key feature of this vaccine is that Incovac is that it is considered to be the first international vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine in India, and it is primarily used for the booster dosage. And what are all the key initiatives that are taken with respect to the restriction of COVID-19 propagation is the establishment of co-win portal, which is a digital platform for vaccine registration of administration of vaccine, and as well as the provision of certification after the administration of this COVID-19 vaccination. And the second initiative is the Har Ghar Dastak campaign, which is a door-to-door awareness campaign, which also stimulates the process of vaccination drive across the country. And the third initiative is the global initiative, or the major initiative taken by India with respect to other nations, that is Vaccine Maitri. It is a global vaccine diplomacy effort to supply indigenously produced Covaxin across various countries. It involves around over 90 countries. And what are all the regulatory bodies involved in the administration of this COVID-19 vaccine as well as the vaccine administration in common is that the Drug Controller General of India, which is the major body which controls and approves emergency use authorization at the time of epidemic or pandemic in the Indian environment. And the second organization is that body is that the ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, which primarily involves in the clinical trial of vaccination as well as the other medications, which also keep on monitoring or under the surveillance of this body, the medications or the vaccination has to be produced or involved. And the third major and umbrella body under this vaccination or medication is that the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which is a major body which involves the creation of policy and implementation oversight needs to be done by this body itself. And with respect to the prelims practice question, which COVID-19 vaccine in India is administered via intranasal route, which we have discussed earlier, we can easily arrive at the answer that the answer is C, because Incovac is the only intranasal vaccine that is produced in India as a booster dosage. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the custodial death which was happened recently in Tamil Nadu because of the police brutality, and it also got the condemnation from the Madras High Court, and the Madras High Court also highlight the continued police force or brutality over the individual, and it also highlights the zero conviction despite frequent custodial death happened in the Tamil Nadu. And what are all the means and ways for reducing the custodial death, because the custodial death are considered to be one of the inhuman practice, and which was strictly against the humanity. And what some of the list of reducing the custodial death in India was done through implementing the Prakash Singh reforms, which was fantastic reform provisions which focus morely on reducing the influence of political side, and it also focus on establishing the independent oversight mechanism, and establishment or the integration of CCTV and body cam monitoring in all police stations, which was happening or in slow progress. And and the independent investigation has to be taken or the initiated for custodial death matters. which also has to cohesively go with the fast track trials mechanism, and establishment of strict penalties for erring officers also create a sense of accountability or the sense of fear by refusing or recusing them from doing such activities. And it also violates the human rights, and it is against the human activity. So it needs to done through educating them or sense of campaigning them through awareness, and caste sensitization training also will provide a positive solution to this matter. And what is custodial death in nature? By defining definition of this custodial death is a death of a person while in police or judicial custody, often due to torture, neglect of provisions like food, like that, etc., or lack of medical aid, which was also a major reason for the occurrence of custodial death. And some of the major reasons quoted for frequent occurrence of this custodial death are: only 123 police person got arrested, and only 41 police personnel or the key official got the charge sheet of the custodial death case, and none has convicted till 2017 to 2022, which is cited as a major reason for the frequent occurrence of custodial death. And also only 345 judicial inquiries has been initiated, and it end up in vain. And with respect to custodial death in India, Dalit has been, or the Dalit community has been overrepresented, or which is being highly targeted in this matter. And 38, according to us data, 38.5% of detainees in, especially in Tamil Nadu, are from scheduled caste communities. uh, the estimated population is around 20%, but the detainees rate is around 38.5, which is a considerable stark number which need to be taken into account. And only 3 convictions in the 74 human right violation practice has been done so far by the police from 2017 to 2022. And moving to the prelims practice question, the prelims practice question for this custodial death is that custodial death are a stark reminder of the lack of police accountability in India. Critically examine the reasons for their persistence and suggest robust institutional measures to address this issue. This is a 10 more question, and we need to answer it in the 150 around 150 words. And we also has to include the police reforms and other statistical data to make the question more comprehensive. And feel free to write a question in the comment section given below, and we are highly encourage you to take the question and write the answer, and we will evaluate in the subsequent sessions. And moving to the last and final topic, in this topic we are going to discuss about the gig economy or the gig workers who are statistically invisible in the key databases like periodic labor force survey. And the gig economy is growing rapidly in India, with around 23.5 million as the projected gig economy workers by around 2029 to 30. And this estimate is done by the India's labor market estimate by Niti Aayog. And this gig workers got, or the platform workers got the definition or recognition from, firstly from the Code of Social Security Act of 2020. But even though they got legal recognition from the Code of Social Security Act of 2020, but there may be a invisible, the economy or the workers got the statistically invisible from the periodic labor force survey. And this year the periodic labor force survey revision got the lack of classification of gig economy workers impacting their visibility in the data. shown by the periodic labor force survey. And with respect to the challenges faced by the labor data representation, specifically on the gig economy workers, or that the gig economy workers are clubbed under the broad labels like self-employed, casual laborers, and own account laborers or workers. And there is no specific category for this workers. And the legal and there is a stark difference between legal and statistical mismatch, as we discussed earlier. They are defined in the law, that is Code of Social Security Act of 2020 legally recognize or define the gig economy workers, but not specifically categorized in the labor survey, which shows a stark mismatch between both the legal and statistical status. And with respect to the oversimplified contracts, poses a great challenge because it does not reflect the algorithm based, or they may act on them when they work on the multiple app based works. They got only contract of one provision, but they got mismatch in the algorithm. And the working condition will also make the inclusion of this gig economy workers into the labor survey makes more challenging, because there is a mismatch of income volatility, and there is insecure they are insecure about the jobs, and the governance of the algorithm based working mechanism also poses a great challenge for statistically analyze the number of workers who got involved in the gig economy, also makes the process more tedious. And with respect to the targeting of this economy workers, schemes like e-shrams and Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana also limits the targeting numbers, or the limits the target by making them only available workers who get the e-shram cards, or who got registered under the Prem J program scheme will only got the coverage under the program. And what are all the policy recommendations need to be done or taken into account to revamp or revise the this gig economy workers to make them more inclusive into the economy, is that first thing is to revise the periodic labor force survey module, that is to introduce gig economy specific classification and questions which make more inclusive in the survey itself. And the introduction of new survey instruments which will be helpful to launch gig economy workforce survey as a separate survey to align with the International Labour Organization. There needs to be updation in the classification of code of this gig economy workers in the National Industrial Classification as well as National Classification of Occupation, to make them more inclusive in the digital, who are working on the digital as well as platform based works or job. And there need to be a platform based audit, or the disclosure of work patterns, ratings, and the working hours, the platform managers or the algorithm based workers, by establishing the companies to expose or to provide details about the platform algorithm, make more transparent, will be a more conducive one for making them more accountable. And with respect to the worker profiling, collection of data on based on earnings and app usage and task frequency they got involved, which also helps in the survey of taking into the gig economy workers into account, a comprehensive one. And use of e-shram ID cards with the linkage to the welfare networks like PMJ and other welfare activities will also leads to a social security integration. And in conclusion, India's labor policy must have to evolve in line with the gig economy realities, as gig economy projects a major role in the estimated around 2029 to 30, and it also has to be in line with the recognition, not only in recognition in law, but it also has to match in the statistical visibility. And there needs to be the updation of periodic labor force survey, which has to taken into account, or it has to create a separate profile for the inclusion of gig economy workers, which make them more inclusive, and it makes the survey more evidence based in further policy making. And moving to the mains practice question, the growing gig and platform economy in India demands updated labor classification and statistical representation. Examine the challenges in accounting for gig workers in India's labor data and suggest policy reforms. With this, we conclude the session. Hope you guys like the video, and please share your positive comments and suggestions in the comment section given below, and please share the video to your friends for more such content. Please subscribe to our Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel.